Let's talk about why Satan was thrown out of heaven. Here in Revelation chapter 12, it says, "And war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels fought with the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought. But they did not prevail, nor was a place found for them in heaven any longer." So the great dragon was cast out, that serpent of old, called the devil and Satan, who deceives the whole world. He was cast to the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. And if you read down to verse 12, after he's cast out, it says, "Therefore rejoice, O heavens, and you who dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and the sea. For the devil has come down to you, having great wrath, because he knows that he has a short time." Now, this short time that it's talking about here is 3.5 years specifically. He's going to get kicked out 3.5 years into the Great Tribulation, which begins the Great Tribulation. And this is where it gets interesting, because in verse 13, it says, "Now when the dragon saw that he had been cast to the earth, he persecuted the woman who gave birth to the male child." So here in Revelation chapter 12, you need to understand who the players are on the board. You have three. You have the woman, you have the child, and you have the dragon. The woman is a picture of Israel, and the child is a picture of Jesus, and the dragon is a picture of Satan. And so when you see down here in verse 13 that it says the dragon saw that he had been cast down to the earth, he persecuted the woman. You need to pay attention to that, because he specifically has a target. He wants to go after the woman. The woman is Israel. So he is specifically going after the woman, which is Israel. He is going after them. He's going after Israel, the Jewish people. That is important to pay attention to because of the rise of anti-Semitism that is currently all over the place. This Twitter page, for example, says the ADL just released an emergency statement claiming that the anti-Semitism has risen 6 million % since the Dan Bilzerian interview. And over here, it gives you a nice little bar so you can see what that looks like. That is fascinating if this is accurate. The same page took a poll, and during the poll, 72,000 people took this poll, and the question on the table is, be honest, nobody will know. Did 6 million Jews during the Holocaust? And 17% said yes, that actually did take place, but 83% said no, it actually didn't take place. Now, mind you, right down here at the bottom it says 394,000 views. This is a big Twitter account. It has over 200,000 followers on it, and he is promoting anti-Semitism all over his page, which is remarkable. So when you go back to Revelation chapter 12, verse 13, again, when you see that when after Lucifer the dragon is thrown out of heaven, after that takes place, you need to pay attention who he goes after. He's going after the Jewish people. He's not going after the Gentiles, he's going after the Jews. Why? That is something to be mindful of, but I just need you to understand his target specifically is the Jewish people. And the reason is because there's a couple things that need to take place in order for Jesus to return. In order for Jesus to come back, the Jewish people need to acknowledge their offense. In Hosea 5:15, it says, "I will return again to my place till they acknowledge their offense. Then they will seek my face. In their affliction they will earnestly seek me." The thing that the Jewish people need to do is they need to acknowledge their offense. When they acknowledge their offense, then they will seek his face, and they will call upon him in the day of trouble, and he will deliver them, and they shall glorify him. Right? So the Jewish people rejected Jesus, and so now in order for Jesus to return, they need to acknowledge their offense. What was their offense? Their offense was the rejection of the kingdom. So this is why when you go back to Revelation chapter 12, this is why when Lucifer gets thrown out of heaven sometime in the future, he is going to go after the woman, which is Israel. And so we need to recognize it's Israel. His focus is on Israel, Israel, Israel. And so in his mind, if he can eliminate the Jews from existing, then that means that Jesus is not going to return, and then Satan can continue being the god of this world. And so that is why he is specifically targeting the Jewish people. And that's why you see the rise of anti-Semitism just being ramped up all across the globe. And so we need to be mindful of it. The Jewish people are still in the game. They are down, but they're not out. You and I, as part of the church, we are to provoke them to jealousy. And we understand that they are blind in part because of Romans 11:25, which Romans 11:25 says, "For I do not desire, brethren, that you should be ignorant of this mystery, lest you should be wise in your own opinion, that blindness in part, has happened to Israel until the fullness of the Gentiles has come in." So it's interesting to see that it's a temporary blindness that the Jewish people have. And that blindness is going to be lifted sometime in the future, but it's only going to be lifted after the fullness of the Gentiles. Well, what is the fullness of the Gentiles? Well, I'm glad you asked. It is an allusion to the rapture. Whenever the rapture occurs, that spiritual blindness that is currently over their face is going to be removed after they acknowledge their offense. There's an order of operations that is going to take place here, and it's kind of fun to dive in there and try to figure it all out. But Jewish people, they are not going away, and they're here to stay. Even though 2/3 of them are going to be cut off, according to Zechariah 13, we see that the Jews are always going to remain, and that is something to be mindful of. But you need to recognize the danger of anti-Semitism that is rising. And you need to understand the reason why. The reason why is because Satan wants to keep control of this world, and he thinks if he can eliminate the Jewish people, then God or Jesus is never going to return. So that's the idea of it. Hope this helps. Thanks.